interview, you will be asked these kinds of scenario based questions, like I have one site in Delhi, one site in Ahmedabad, one site in Mumbai, right? In Delhi I have a data center, or in Bangalore I have a data center. When Mumbai and Ahmedabad are talking to each other, traffic is going via DC, or traffic is going via Delhi. I want to reroute the traffic, I want to route the traffic to data center, right? How can I do it? Or like between Delhi and Mumbai, I want best path via Delhi, right? In the Delhi I have one IDS, through that I want to pass my traffic. What to do, right? And you perform these all manipulation with the help of BGP attributes only. Like here you can see in this particular scenario, I have two sides, headquarter and side 1. Between headquarter and side 1 there are two ISP, Sprint US and British Telecom. Done. Right, which kind of questions can be asked in interview for L2 engineer, L3 engineer, is like in my headquarter, you know, by default in headquarter side, these prefixes from side 1 will come through both the ISP, through Sprint US as well as through British Telecom. And BGP by default doesn't support load balancing, so by using tiebreaker attributes, router are going to install one path in their routing table. So question can be like, I want to send traffic from headquarter to side 1 via Sprint US. I want to send traffic from headquarter to side 1 via Sprint US. It means I am talking about outgoing traffic. I need to influence what? Which type of update message? Which type of route? Incoming route or outgoing route? I need to manipulate incoming route. For incoming route, what I can do, I can use local preference value, right? If I want to send traffic through Sprint US, what I can do? Here on router number 5, I can advertise lower local preference value for side 1 prefixes. Similarly, like I want to receive traffic in headquarter from side 1 via British Telecom, correct? Then for some traffic, like for some departments in branch 1, in side 1 we have sales, HR, finance. I want to route finance traffic via Sprint US, sales traffic via British Telecom, and like this, right? So here you can try the manipulation, and later also if you will have questions you can ask. Otherwise we will be still connected with BGP for few more days, because after covering the BGP concept we'll move towards service provider network. There you will explore more about BGP. Right now, see, this is my troubleshooting scenario. What is happening here? Look at the topology very carefully. This is my side 1, this is my side 2, branch 1, branch 2, again two connection from the same service provider. That's why here we have same AS 500, router 2, router 3, and in side 1, in branch 1 my BGPS number 1 is running, in branch 2 BGPS number 200 is running. What is happening? I am preferring ISP1, means router 2, to send traffic and to receive the traffic. I want to prefer R2 to send traffic from BGP 100 to BGP 200, as well as to receive traffic. I want to prefer R2 from BGP 200 to BGP 100, and failover when the R2 is not available, then in case, right, automatically failover should happen. But right now, see what is happening here on router number 1. On router number 1, so IP BGP. So IP BGP, this is my self-advertised route, and this is receive route. There are two paths, one via router number 2, 12.2, next hop, one via router number 3, 13.3, and which one is best? Via router number 3, right? What I told you, I want to prefer R2. What can I do here? Tell me the simplest way. Simplest way. Praful, this is Cisco device. Just add the wait
Wait.
attribute, right? Go to config T and say router BGP 100 and neighbor 12.1.2 and wait 100. And after that, so IP BGP clear IP BGP star soft in, and then so IP BGP, and now you can see the best path is via router number 2 because of weight attribute. Done. So when R2 will goes down, before setting R2 down, let me write the configuration. I think configuration already right. And let me send traffic as well to 40 ping 40.1.1 source 10.1.1. You can see ping is working, right? And there is alternate path as well in routing table. This one, backup path. So let me do one thing for a moment. Let me set R2 router and then let me send traffic. Now you can see ping is not working. It means what? It means failover is not happening, right guys? It means failover is not happening. Let me show you the BGP table. So IP BGP, so IP BGP, and before that clear IP BGP star soft in, and then so IP BGP. Now see the BGP table. Still BGP table has same information. It can take some time to update the BGP table. So IP BGP summary. One neighbor will goes down. Right now still showing one route received from both the neighbor. After some time BGP session will goes down, and then till then for quick update I am going to set the port, and then I will no set the port. Now I am expecting, so I updated BGP table. Now you can see BGP table is updated. Now there is only one path via router number 3. So in routing table route should be there. So IP route BGP. Yes, route is present via router number 3. Next stop is reachable 13.1.3. But ping is not working. Why ping is not working? Let me show you. Ping, you can see ping is not working. If I will access R4, and if I'm going to debug IP ICMP, and then from router number 1 if I'm going to ping, you can see R4 is generating reply message, right? It means my request is reaching to R4 but reply is not coming back. Again when I will up R2, then ping will start working. What it mean? It mean there is some issue on lower path from AS number 200 to AS number 100. There is no issue from 100 to 200 on lower path. No issue. That's why traffic is still going, right? When R2 is not available. But when R2 is not available, then traffic reply is not coming back. Why? Let me show you the R4. See R4. So IP BGP summary. Now BGP session is up. So IP BGP. Only self advertised prefix is there. Soon it is going to learn 10 as well from both the neighbor. So IP BGP summary. So IP BGP 1040 good. So IP BGP summary. BGP is quite slow protocol. No worry, it can take some time. Clear IP BGP star soft in, and here now router 2. So IP BGP summary. It is learning route. Here you can see there is some change. There is some change. Oh yeah, are you able to see some extra information? One minute, guys. Hello, Arun. No, bro, we have postponed it from 18th. You can even check your WhatsApp ads here. And you are asking me now from 11 to 1, right? Okay, fine, fine. I will see. Now you can see earlier what it's showing. Session established. Now it is receiving the route. It will advertise to R4. Go to R4. So IP BGP summary. It is only receiving route from this neighbor, from router number 2. It is not receiving route from router number 3, from another neighbor. So that's why in SOIP BGP there is only one path. Oh, this is the reason when upper path goes down, communication was not happening. Now who will tell me what to verify to fix it? How to identify the issue? R4 is not receiving route from R3. Only one path is there for 10 subnet. Only one path is there for 10 submit on R4. Very first thing you should ask me, Praful, can you show me is there any policy applied? Correct? Is there any policy applied, Praful? Then I will ask on which router. You can ask me, Praful, show me from R4. So run section BGP. Here is your BGP configuration of R4. Right? Router BGP 200. Network, this one I am advertising 40 submit and 2 neighbor command. No any policy is there. On R1, so run section BGP. There is nothing, just I have enabled the BGP. Router BGP 100, this is the network command to advertise 10 subnet, and after that neighbor IP address remote yes, and just I have configured wait in front of you to prefer upper path on R1 and another neighbor command. On R2, so run section BGP. Section BGP. Here you can see router BGP 500, neighbor remote neighbor router number 1 remote ES 100, neighbor this one next hop self, right, to update the next hop IP address. Another neighbor router number 4 remote ES 200 and next hop self. No any policy. And the last router number 3. So run section BGP. Router BGP 500, neighbor 13.3 remote ES 100, next hop self, neighbor 34.4 router number 4 remote ES 200, next hop self, and one policy is applied for R4 in odd direction. Name of my route map is ES path. It means we are prepending ES path. Definitely what I told you, I want to prefer upper path between BGP 100 and 200. So that's why what I did here from R3 I am advertising ES path, so that R4 can prefer upper path. But after applying policy, router number 4 even don't accept the path, lower path, then failover is not going to happen. Now you need to identify why. So you can ask me, Praful, can you please show me the route map? I will definitely show you route map. So route map, ES path, and this is my route map. In this route map, I said match IP address from ACL number 10, so access list. So access list in ACL number 10, you can see I'm just matching 10.1.1.0, correct? And another action in this same route map is match IP address from list number 10 and then prepend this ES number. Tell me where is the issue?
AS path.
Yes, for Android using.
It is receiving the same AS path,
Very
AS
good.
number.
By mistaken, here I have prepend ES number 100. So R4 is receiving BGP update message with same ES number, right? I can prepend any ES number on router number 3 except, sorry, not 100, except ES number 200. Except ES number 200, because ES number 200 is running on router number 4. Router 4 will think there is loop, it is not going to accept. That's on R3 if you are going to run command show IP BGP neighbor 34.1.1.4 and advertise route, you can see R3 is advertising but R4 is not accepting. That's why in R4 BGP table show IP BGP, you can see only one path is showing, right? So I have two options. Either I can say router 4, router BGP 200 and neighbor 34.1.3 allow yes in, and then clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. Now you can see for 10 subnet. Another way is like I can remove ES number 200 from ES prepend. Got it, everyone? This was a just troubleshooting scenario, right, to revise your previous rules, BGP rules. Now you know what happened here. Like on router number 4, let me remove this command. Router BGP 200 and allow AS in, say no to this. Again there is issue, so I will go to router number 3 and I am going to update my route map. Route map AS path, and the statement was what? Do so run section route map. I will remove ES number 200 here. Right, instead of ES number 200 I can add 100 twice, and now go to R4 again and clear your clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. Now you can see it is preferring router number 2. So now if R2 will goes down, no problem, failover can happen, traffic will be shifted on lower path automatically, and ping is still working. Ping.
Praful, I have one doubt. So we are adding AS path, right? Like if already there are like the path have one or two AS path, will add like to that AS path also list also, or like if we set that it will show only that AS path which we are adding.
I didn't get you. Please repeat.
Like for example, if we check the route in R2, it will already have a AS path 100, right?
Right?
So if we add like four other IAS path, will it the 100 also will show in
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
or
definitely. We
okay
are
include?
prepending.
Okay, okay, it will just add over that, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay. Now everything is good. You can see on router number 1, so IP BGP, it is preferring upper path, and R4 is also preferring upper path. So IP BGP, upper path on all. Now next topic is summarization in BGP. When we'll perform the summarization on router, some more attributes will be added in your BGP update message. First attribute is aggregator address. Aggregator or aggregate, and second one is atomic aggregate. Atomic aggregate attribute means your ES path is summarized, suppressed, right? Means the BGP is not going to advertise ES path with summary address. For an example, these are the prefixes on router number 4, and router 4 is advertising to their neighbor router number 2 with some ES path 100, 200, 300, 400. If I am going to perform summarization on router number 2, router 2 should copy all the ES path, right? Router 2 should copy all the ES path from the specific prefixes. So by default, router 2 is not going to copy, and it will turn on atomic aggregate. Router 1, when router 1 will receive the summary address, it will check the attribute. If atomic aggregate attribute is there, it means ES path is suppressed. summary address without ES path. What did it mean? Summary address without ES path. First of all, on router number 4, I am going to create these loopbacks. Interface loopback 2 and IP address 40.1.2.1 255.255.255.0 3. Anyone have idea about the summarization, guys, in BGP? Most of you are already working professional, already know the BGP, most of the thing in BGP. Yeah. So IP BGP, sorry, so IP interface brief exclude NSA. Yeah, anyone have idea about the summarization? How can I perform summarization over here? First of all, let me advertise router BGP 200 network 40.1.2.0 mask 255.255.255.0. Guys, there are three ways to advertise prefixes in BGP. Number one, through network command. Number two, through redistribution, like earlier I had shown you. And number three is through route map. In route map, you can match the prefix, you can match the interface, and again, you can, while redistribution, you can apply that route map. You can call that route map. So right now I'm advertising with network command, and when we'll advertise with redistribution method, then origin code is going to be incomplete question mark. Now, so IPBGP. Good, all the prefixes are advertised in BGP. Go to R1 and check so IPBGP, right? 40.1.1.0 coming from two path, 40.1.2.0 coming from again both the path, and where 3.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. You can see two paths are there. If I will open any prefix 40.1.1.0, you can see two paths are there, and which path is best? This path is best. Why? It is coming from router 2. Next hop 12.2, router ID 24.2. Why this path is best path? Because of weight attribute. Praful, here weight attribute is 100, here weight attribute in this path is 0. That's why this path is the best path. But we cannot see attribute like aggregate and atomic aggregate. We cannot see aggregate or atomic aggregate. Let me take you to R2 and let me perform the summarization in BGP. Router BGP 500, and here I am going to say aggregate address and tell me the summary address 40.1.0.0 255.255.0.0. You can calculate the summary address. Right now I'm summarizing all with /16. Okay, and enter. Will it advertise summary address to the neighbor R2? Go to R2, clear your BGP table, clear IP BGP star soft in and show IP BGP. Summary address is there. Yes, summary address is there. Praful, this one. And coming from router 2 12.1.2. If I will open this prefix 40.1.0.0, then you can see there is only one path. There is only one path, and this attribute is new, atomic aggregate. And is ES path there? Is ES path there? No. Right? So two more attributes are added over here. One is aggregate, aggregated by which router. Aggregate attribute is going to tell you, the summarization is performed by which router. Route is aggregated by which router. Which router is performing aggregation. So router whose router ID is this one. Or on router number 2, I can change the router ID, BGP router ID 2.2.2.2, and then go to the R1 again and clear IP BGP star soft in, and then show IP BGP 40. Prefix is not in table, so IP BGP right? It can take some time. Just I have changed the neighbor router ID. So IP BGP summary. Okay. Session is established. Just wait. Now again you can see summary address, and now if I'm going to open the summary address, you can see router ID is changed. Aggregated by AS number 500 and by the router whose router ID is 2.2.2.2. And this is summary address without ES path. In another prefix 40.1.1.0, you can see some ES path are there, right? ES path 500 and 200. But in this summary address, right, the AS number of aggregator router is only there, right? 200 is not there. Whatever AS was coming to router number 2 with prefixes, specific prefixes, those AS number are not copied in summary address. And this attribute is telling that to router. But router number 2 is advertising summary address as well as individual address. Right? It is also advertising 40.1.1.0, 2.0, 3.0. If you want router 2 to only advertise the summary address, then you know router will start preferring lower path, guys. If you will right now, if you will trace route 40.1.1 and source 10.1.1 numeric, traffic is going via router number 2. And this is what I want. I want to prefer upper path. But in EIGRP, OSP up to summarization, what we did, we achieved load balancing, path manipulation. Here also, if I want path manipulation on router number 2, I can say router BGP 500, and in the aggregate address, you can say summary only. Summary only. Now it will only advertise summary route. It will not advertise individual route. So individual prefixes is coming from R3. And you know, while forwarding traffic based on longest prefix match, router 1 will start forwarding traffic to router number 3. Enter. Now go to R1 again and clear your BGP table. Clear IP BGP star soft in and then show IP BGP. Now you can see individual prefixes are coming from router 3 and only summary route is coming from router number 2. And now if I am going to trace route, then you can see traffic is going via router number 3. Is it clear, everyone? Say yes or no. Summarization in BGP, and through summarization also you can manipulate the path. Even if I want router 2 to set the ES, right? These are advanced concept. Right now we don't need to go so deeper here, right? Understand the basic summarization. See, with 40 subnet, only ES number 500 is coming. If I want router 2 to set, to copy all the ES path from the specific prefix, here I can just add one keyword, ES set. ES set. And then on router number 1, clear IP BGP star soft in, and then so IP BGP 40.1.0. Now you can see. So, and now we don't have atomic aggregate attribute because this is a summary address with ES. What it will do? Atomic aggregate attribute telling router that this is a summary address without ES path. Now this is the summary address with ES path. Got it, guys? Now R2 will copy ES path from the prefixes and it will add in the summary route. If I want R3 should also advertise the summary address only, here also go to R3, say router BGP 500 and aggregate address 40.1.0.0 255.255.0.0 summary only and set ES path. ES path set. Now go to R1 and show IP BGP. Now you can see BGP table is summarized. only summary route is coming from both the neighbor, and again router 1 started preferring R2 because of weight attribute. Again, if you will trace route, your traffic is going via router number 2, right? And if I am going to remove set ES on R3, then R3 is going to advertise prefixes without ES, this, and clear IP BGP star soft in so IP BGP. You can see two paths are there for this summary address, right? And let me open it. 40.1.0.0. Two paths are there. Best is this one. On the basis of which attribute it is selecting best path. See, in both the path, ES path are there. ES path is same. So on the basis of which attribute is performing selecting best path, on the basis of same weight attribute. Done. How can I achieve load balancing for this summary address? If I want router to install both in routing table, so IP route BGP, right? You can see install best is installed via router number 2. If I want R1 to perform load balancing, what can I do? Here you can configure maximum path 2. That's it. Okay. And from this router, let's say we have more ASA. We have more ES path. From router number 2, we have less ES path. In that case, if you want load balancing, then you have to suppress ES path, right? Here you can suppress the ES path. You can remove this command, right? So both the routers are just going to advertise ES number 500. Like example, R2 is learning 40 subnet with 3S and 3SA, and router 3 is learning 40 subnet with 10 ESA, right? So it will advertise all ESA to R1. R2 will also advertise all to R1, and based on ES path, R1 is going to select best path. In that case, if I want load balancing, I can suppress the ES. I can just set ES. That's it. Clear? Can I move? Say yes or no.
Yes.
I don't think we need to perform some manipulation with MAD, because MAD concept is exactly same, and yesterday also we had talked about MAD. You guys can try to perform manipulation with MAD attribute. If you will have question, you can ask me, definitely I will perform some manipulation with MAD as well. So this is another way for the manipulation that is apart from the attribute, that is summarization, aggregation. Now understand one another important concept of BGP here. Okay, what is the issue in iBGP, guys? What is the issue in iBGP? Let's suppose I have some routers like this. In a campus or in a big enterprise network, there are lots of branches. Let's suppose I have router 1, router 2, router 3, router 4, router 5, and router 6. What is the issue in iBGP? Anyone?
So it doesn't advertise
Loop
the
governance
next hop by
Very,
default.
very
and the
good.
desktop.
To avoid that, what we can do? What feature we have?
The next
Route
hop self command.
client. Route reflector client.
route
To
reflector
advertise the prefixes, I have to configure route reflector,
or full mesh BGP.
route reflector, and another feature
Route
is
Full
full
mesh,
mesh
full mesh.
BGP.
Yes.
If I will go with full mesh BGP, see, even when we configure route reflector, what happens, some more attributes is going to be added in your BGP update. If I will go with full mesh topology, then see how many neighborship I need to create over here. In this topology, see how many neighbors I need to create.
So for each router, you need to configure five neighbors.
Right, so it is going to increase the complexity. Right, there is formula to calculate number of adjacency in full mesh. If I am going to add one more router over here, then I need to form neighborship with all the routers again. And even the topology is small. Right now I have only 6 or 7 routers. If I have hundreds of router, it is going to increase the complexity. This is issue of IBGP. If I will go with route reflector, again I need to configure many route reflector. Router number 7. With 7 router, these are number of adjacency. Maybe I am missing some here. You can also add that. Because by default we know a router learning prefix from their IBGP neighbor will be not advertised to other by IBGP neighbor. And we have discussed route reflector and full mesh IBGP session. Imagine a service provider network where we have thousands and thousands of routers. They are configuring one route reflector is going to be tough. Having full mesh IBGP session is going to be very tough. So is there any another solution? Yes. When you have a small topology, you can go with full mesh. You can go with route reflector. Like in my previous topology here, I can go with route reflector, no problem. I can configure R3 and R4 as RR, but not in service providers. Inside the service providers, we have hundreds and thousands of routers. There we uses a feature called BGP configuration. BGP configuration. In case of route reflector, 2 more attribute will be added. May I know the name of each attribute? Cluster list and
Originator.
originator ID. What is cluster list? Cluster list is the router ID of a route reflector RR. This is RR. And originator, the router ID of router who is advertising that prefix. Got it? It's clear with name. So here, let's suppose R1. R1 is advertising this prefix to R3. R3 is RR, route reflector, it will advertise to R2. R2 also has neighborship with R1 and R2. So R2 will also advertise this back to R1, yes or no? If yes, then this is what? Loop. This is what? Loop. But will R1 accept it? Like when we had configured, anyone observed the BGP table of R1? Will R1 accept it or not? If not, then this is your question. Tell me why. How R1 will drop it? If it is receiving it, then this is loop. How you will prevent this loop? Take a screenshot. This is your question over here. Right now I am interested to discuss one scalable feature for service provider network, that is BGP configuration. Because imagine if you have routers like this R1, R2, R3 connected with R4, R5, R6, right? And like this, you will have many routers in service provider network. You have to configure many route reflector, route reflector client, like that. and R3 is still not advertising route to R4. So you will also configure router 3, your neighbor router 4 is route reflector. Router 4 is going to learn the same prefix and prefix from there. Route reflector neighbor will R4 advertise it to R1 to the other IBGP neighbor. You have already said route reflector. So yes, it should advertise. Even if R1 is dropping, but if R4 is advertising, that is what? Routing loop. That is dynamic routing protocol. Look, the best solution over here is BGP configuration. 1 minute, please. Okay, no problem. Then I will see. I will see after 10 o'clock. Okay, guys. See, BGP configuration is what, like inside a big ES, you can create child ES. I'm going to close this lab. Configurations are already saved. If anyone have not understood the troubleshooting scenario, you can try. I'm going to save it. I will see here BGP T-suit. Let me save it in. Okay, document. Save. Till then, understand what is BGP configuration. Very important topic for service provider network. Right now, we will more focus on service provider. Right, till now we have talked about enterprises. Right, these are the behavior of BGP in enterprises. BGP configuration. Okay, let's say R1, R2, R3 and R4 connected with a customer. Right, this is customer router. See, let's say R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5. This is my BGP ES number 100. Keep yourself on mute. BGP 500, BGP 100. BGP 100. Is there any issue? Here we have IBGP session. Here also we have IBGP. IBGP, EBGP, and EBGP. Is there any issue, guys, over here? Suppose R1 is advertising some prefixes to R2, but will R2 advertise that to R6, R5? Sorry, here I have forget to add some routers now. This was not the topology. Let me correct it. Let me correct it. So sorry. R4 and R5. If R1 is advertising some prefixes, will R3 advertise it to R5, R6 and R7? Yeah, here we have what? IBGP. IBGP and IBGP. And ES number 100. If R1 is advertising some prefixes to their neighbor R3, will R3 advertise it to R5?
No, sir.
No, we know this, right? So I have to configure R3 as route reflector, R4 as route reflector, then R3 will start advertising to R5, and then R5 will advertise it to R7, right? This is what we have learned. But now another feature is, you know what? Inside this is your BGP number 500. For outside, everyone knows your company with BGP number 500 only. But within this big ES 500, you can create multiple child ES that is called config ES. For an example, here I have ES. Here I have created ES 1, ES 2, ES 3, ES 4, ES 5, and ES 6. So these are what? These are my child ES. All belongs to their parents ES 500. And for outside, this is single ES number 500. So we have total 3 features to solve IBGP loop avoidance mechanism, to break IBGP loop avoidance mechanism. Number 1, full miss. Number 2, route reflector, and number 3 is confidation. In large network, every time you will be using confidation. So a router will be running a child ES inside the parent ES, and this session, BGP session between router 1 and router 3 is called EBGP config EBGP neighbor. What we call it? Config EBGP neighbor. In config EBGP, some feature of IBGP are there and some feature of EBGP are there. Some feature of IBGP and some feature of EBGP. Right now, instead of applying it in big network, here I have a simple network which we are already configured for the service providers. Remember when I was connecting two customer, what happened? Or I should have the topology in GNS3 also, no problem. Let me close. Let me open a new topology that can help later as well for other lab. Just I want to make a simple lab to show you the configuration. See, if I have a service provider network connecting to customer, and inside the service provider P and to customer like this. So simple. So R1, R2, R3, R4. Later we can arrange this topology more properly and we can use for connecting multiple customer in the same provider. So we will have one lab in GNS3, one lab in EVNG. Both can be configured together. That's why I'm running. That's why I'm creating lab over here in GNS3. Done. Interfaces. Okay, for customer, what am I assuming? Customer ES number is customer side 2 ES number is 2 and service provider ES number is main ES of service provider is ES 100, let's say. And inside this big ES, I'm getting some child ES here. Let's say my ES number, child ES is ES 101, 102, 103. You will understand another problem as well. What all problem configuration is solving. Just wait. Let me turn on the devices, and in my notepad I am going to write down the commands. So this is lab. Yesterday I had given you some task like this. You can get multiple tasks as well. I will share it in the group. For now, enable not required in DNS3 config T interface F0/0 no shutdown and IP address 12.1.1 exit, and let me copy. Let me add another interface F 1/0. IP address over here is going to be what 15.1.1. okay, and one more loopback interface loopback 1 IP address 1.1.1 255.255.255.255 exit, and I want to enable OSPF. Now you can imagine like these all routers are P router, right? Here also we have some side of customer, here also have some side of customer. So in between router 1 and router 2 we have multiple routers, and both the loopbacks are reachable through OSPF routing protocol. So here I can add one command. So IP OSPF1 area 0. I can add this command on this interface also. I can add this command on this interface also, not on the customer interface. Except customer facing interface, OSPF is enabled everywhere. Copy and paste it on R1. Like these all routers are connecting customer sites, side 1, side 2, side 3, side 4, 4 sides of the customer. Okay, like if I will simplify it, then see, this is service provider network. Here we have one PE router R1, another PE router R2, another PE router R3, and it is connecting customer side 1, side 2 and side 3. So whatever prefix is, C router from side 1 is advertising to R1. R1 will advertise to R2, but R2 will not advertise it to R3. Right? From this P to this P, route is getting advertised. From this P to this P, route is not getting advertised. Yes, na? This is what we have learned, correct? Later I will correct it. I will connect customer side at every router. You will see. Even we will connect the multiple routers. Done. Then router number 4. On router number 4, my router ID on loopback interface is going to be 4.4.4.4, and on F0/0 my IP address is going to be 34.1.4, and on F1/0 my IP address is going to be 46.1.4. Copy and paste on R4, R1, R2, R3, R4. Done. Then R3. On R3, loopback is going to be 3.3.3. On F0/0, IP is going to be 23.1.3. On F1/0, IP is going to be 34.1.4. Copy and paste on R3. Then R2. On R2,
Here we can give OSPF, right, in that interface also.
Yes, here also we need to add OSPF. Great catch.
Sir, also we got an error on router 3 as a duplicate address.
Where?
If you on
Here.
router 3.
Now it's correct. See now.
I think if you go up.
30.
Yeah, okay.
Now router
Now it's
2.
perfect. Yeah.
12.1.2 and here 23.1.2 and router ID 2.2.2. Look back. Copy and paste it on R2. Okay, let me verify the OSPF. So IP OSPF interface brief. So IP OSPF neighbor. Good, neighborship is up. Go to R3 and so IP OSPF neighbor. Good. Then R2. So IP OSPF neighbor. Then R1. So IP OSPF neighbor. All good. On the customer router R5 and R6, I'm going to create a loopback and I need to configure which interface. Here only one interface. On router number 5 F1/0, IP is going to be 15.5. OSPF command is not required. And on the loopback interface, again OSPF is not required. I am going to configure, let's say 10.1.1.10.1.1.1. So copy and paste it over here on R5. All good. Now let's configure the BGP. Here on the customer router, I will configure BGP ES number. Router BGP ES number 65001. And customer don't know about the child ES. Customer only know what? Remote ES 100. Remote ES 100. And on R6 also config T router BGP 65002 and neighbor 46.1.4 and remote AS 100. Now I need to configure provider router. So go to R1 and instead of saying router BGP 100, what I am going to say router BGP child AS 101. And after that I will define the parent AS that bro you belongs to 100. For that BGP configuration identifier. BGP configuration identifier. Whatever.
Spelling mistake. You are
Okay. Identifier. I'm poor in English. Okay. Identifier is 100 na parent CS. And after that I need to define the configuration peer. BGP configuration peer and define all peer 102 space 103 and 104. Done. After that neighbor, who is your neighbor? 2.2.2.2 and remote AS of neighbor 102. The neighbor 2.2.2.2 update source loopback 1. Neighbor 2.2.2.2 and you can also create peer group to reduce it. What other command is required? eBGP multi-hop. eBGP multi-hop. And
So I can do show history once.
where it is?
Okay, the first two, can you just recap what it does? So we tell the main AS and then the child AS like that.
I have defined the then peer, configuration peer.
Okay, so this we have to do on, I think, all the routers.
Yes.
Okay.
So copy the command and let me configure other router. Router number 2, on router number 2 my AS is going to be 102, right? Identifier is still 100 and peer is going to be 101, 103 and 104. Neighbor is going to be 1.1.1. After that, what I am expecting? BGP neighborship between R1 and R2. Which type of neighborship? iBGP or eBGP?
eBGP.
There is some mistake. I'm getting notification message. No router BGP 102. Where is the mistake? Remote AS, right? Remote AS is 101. Now copy and paste again on R2. We will have eBGP inside the service provider. See, so IP BGP summary. Neighborship is up and so IP BGP neighbor. Right, what it's saying, neighbor is 1.1.1, remote AS 101, external link, but neighbor under common administration. What it's saying, neighbor is under a common administrator. It means this is config eBGP neighbor. Both are in same administrator, means same AS. For outside, both are in same AS. Now here on router number 2, I am going to add some more commands. Just here I will add 3 more neighbor command. Copy and paste. Neighbor 3.3.3, 3.3.3, 3.3.3.
remote AS also need to.
Remote AS is 103. Copy and paste on R2. Then go to R3. On R3, 100. Identifier 100. My AS number is 103. Identifier is 100. And the config peers is 101, 102, and 104. Neighbor is 2.2.2 and 2.2.2 remote AS is 102. Update source loopback 1 and eBGP multi-o. Then neighbor 4.4.4 and remote AS of 4.4.4 is
104.
104. Here also I will replace it. Copy and paste on R3. All good. Now I'm expecting eBGP neighbors between R2 and R3 also you can see BGP is up. Then finally I need to configure R4. On R4 peer is going to be 103. Alright, neighbor is going to be 3.3.3. Remote ES is going to be 103 and I need to change the neighbor IP address here also and here also. All good.
Router BGP 104. They
Rou-
are coming.
Router BGP 104. Very good. Great. Copy and paste it on R4. I always makes mistake, right? So configuring small things. Now on router number 1, so IP BGP summary. Very good. We have neighborship with router number 2. Then on R2, so IP BGP summary, 2 neighbor, good. R3, so IP BGP, summary, so IP BGP summary, good, 2 neighbor. And on R4, so IP BGP summary. Great. Now I'm going to advertise prefix from the customer side. From the customer side, go to R5 and say network 10.1.1.1 mask 255.255.255.0. What happened? Done. So IP BGP is loopback created or not? So IP interface brief loopback is there. So IP BGP, what happened? On R5. So IP protocol summary BGP is running. So IP BGP. Tell me what happened. Neighbor is idle ping 15.101. Ping is working. Okay, on the router number 1. Now tell me on router 1 how I will configure the neighborship with customer. Router BGP 100 or 101?
100.
If I will configure router BGP 100, it will give me the error. Router BGP 100, you can see. Right? We cannot run multiple process of BGP like OSPF and EIGRP. On one router, you can only have one BGP process. We can have multiple OSPF, right? That's why we have process ID in OSPF. So router BGP 101, neighbor 15.1.1.5 and remote AS 655.1. And now, so IP BGP summary. How many neighbors are there? 2 neighbor. Now on router number 5, so IP BGP summary, neighbor is up, and so IP BGP, so run section BGP is my network command, right?
Remote AS 101.
Remote AS is 100. No. For customer, service provider is running what? AS number 100. That's not the problem. For outside, this is only one ES. That is like child ES, config ES is internal process, right? To avoid a route reflector or full mesh IBGP. Got it?
Yes, sir.
For
Yes.
outside, it's still 100 only. So run interface loopback 1. So here you can see it's because of my loopback configuration. Interface loopback 1 and IP address 10.1.1.255.255.255.0. And now so IP BGP, you can see prefixes are injected in BGP table, self advertise next of 0.0.0, wait attribute and whatever. Now it is going to advertise to their neighbor R1. Let me take you to R1 and so IP BGP. You can see 10.1.1.0/24 is coming from this next hop with this next hop 15.5, and now it will advertise to their neighbor to R2. Will it update next hop IP address?
No, still we didn't configure.
Will R1 advertise will R1 advertise to R2 or not? This prefix? Definitely yes. Now question is, will it update next hop IP address?
No.
Why no?
Because
We
we
need
didn't
to
run
give
the next hook command.
That's why this prefix is only valid, not best. What command I need to run?
Next hop shell.
For which neighbor? Router BGP
2.2.2.
10. Router BGP 101, neighbor 2.2.2.2, and next hop self. On router number 2, clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. Now next hop is updated, and you can see AS path is in bracket. AS path is in bracket. Right, when R4 will advertise this to customer, it is going to remove these all internal ASA. These all internal ASAs. And now if you will open this prefix in detail, you can see rest all the attributes are same. Just config ES number is added inside the bracket. So IP BGP 10.1.1.0. This is my path, right? See, this ES is the actual AS, right? Prefix is coming from this is customer AS. This is customer AS, right? And this is config AS. And rest all the attributes are same. Just one more attribute is added. That is config external. Now will R2 advertise it to R3? Will R2 advertise it to R3? Yes, this
It
time.
is.
Yes, this time, because R2 and R3 has eBGP neighbor. So on R3, so IP BGP. You can see 10.1.1.0/24 prefix is coming. Next hop IP address is 1.1.1. Later, like even not later, right now route is already present for 1.1.1. R3 will reach to this customer via router number 1 only. So I don't need to update next hop on router number 2 in this particular case. And in the bracket 2 ASAs are added. Means this is coming from 2 config ES and 1 main parents ES, which is 65,001, and 2 config ES 1002 and 1001. Similarly on R4, so IP BGP, you can see prefix is there, next hop is reachable, prefix is valid best, and these are config ES. Will R4 advertise it to R6? Yes, definitely yes. And will R4 update next hop IP?
No, we need to give next
Why,
of.
bro? It is advertising their eBGP neighbor.
Yeah.
It is advertising their eBGP neighbor, so definitely it will update. नहीं
No,
क्लास ले
sir.
रहा हूँ ठीक कर रहा हूँ Okay. So go to R6 and check. So IP BGP. So R4 will also update the next hop here. So IP BGP is not active. Do so IP interface brief is look back there. Is interface configured? No. So interface F0/0 no shutdown and IP address 46.1.6 255.255.255.0 exit interface loopback 1 IP address is going to be 60.1.1 255.255.255.0 exit router BGP 65002 neighbor 46.1.4 and remote AS 104 or 100
100.
100 very good network 60.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0 so IP BGP 60 subnet is there 60 subnet is there and so IP BGP summary neighbor is idle so on router number 4 actually I need to define neighbor command correct router BGP 104 and neighbor 46.1.6 and remote ES 65002. Now I'm expecting BGP neighborship in some time and now you can see even prefix is coming. So IP BGP and you can see all config ES is removed. Correct? Only what ES is coming from the service provider?
The main
Main ES
100.
number 100. Right? And this is customer ES upside 1. Same with 60 subnet, just I need to run next hop self command on R4. A router BGP 104 and neighbor 3.3.3.3 and next hop self and go to customer side 1 router. So IP route BGP. So IP BGP only self advertise is here. What happened? So IP BGP it will advertise to R4. Go to R4. So IP BGP. Right, the 60 subnet is there with next hop IP address this one, right? Customer ES number this one, it will advertise to R3, so IP BGP. But here, what is the issue? Next hop. What happened on R4? So run section BGP. I did next hop self command, but it is not working. Clear IP BGP star soft. No, it's working, but it is not updated. Now you can see. Now if you will go to side 1 customer edge router, so IP BGP, you can see both the prefixes and on router number 6, so IP BGP both the prefixes. If you will verify the routing table, so IP route BGP, you can see side 2 prefix and on side 2C router, so IP route BGP, you can see 10. And now if I'm going to send traffic, ping 60.1.1 and source 10.101, ping is also working. Just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm getting one call. Is it clear? Everyone?
So for outside, it will advertise the main AS path.
चलो ठीक है कॉल कर देता हूँ ठीक है ना अभी चलो मैं क्लास ले रहा हूँ okay yes any question guys
Sir, for outside, it will advertise the main AS path, right?
right for outside there is only one ES which is 100
Yes, yes.
for my internal network what I
It
did I
will,
created child ES config
yes.
ES Any other question? Our next concept in BGP is BGP communities.
Sir, in that I have found out in Confederation.
Go ahead.
So in like IBGP does not tell the route to its neighbor, right? We have to use route reflector client.
Right,
But here it will tell to its neighbor because it is EBGP,
right,
acting like EBGP inside.
correct,
And but in EBGP we also do not need to do next hop self, right?
right.
But here we have to do next hop self. So is it some different
Exceptional,
behavior here? Exceptional behavior, is it? Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, only this. So this is a different behavior. It will act like EBGP, but we have to give next hop self.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Because you in the neighborship you have seen na, both are under same administrator.
Same, yes. Okay.
That's why.
So we'll thank you.
Nothing else. Rest all the concepts are exactly same. Router 2 is not updating. Next
Mhm.
hop. R3 is not updating. Next hop. So throughout the service wide network, next hop for this submit, this customer submit is 1.1.1 only.
Oh, so every other behavior like normal EBGP, just
Exactly.
this one exception.
This is
Okay.
also the normal behavior only. Both are inside the same administrator, same ES. That's why it is not
Oh,
updating
okay.
the
Yes.
next hop.
Yes. Okay.
We are just breaking the loop avoidance rule by creating multiple child ES.
Sir, in yesterday class, we also run the command MPLS.
Mhm.
So we need here MPLS or not?
Definitely, MPLS is going to reduce the CPU utilization on the router. Right now, router 4, router 3, router 2, router 1, all are going to use routing table to forward traffic to next hop. We will enable MPLS to not look up the routing table. We'll talk about MPLS later. Okay,
Yes, sir. Okay.
good. So now BGP communities. Again, important topic. But now, as you guys are already familiar with basic concept of BGP fundamentals, rules, right? You are able to understand these advanced concepts easily. Similarly, in OSPF, EIGRP, you had learned the tagging. Remember, tag value with prefixes. And with the help of that tag value, what I can do? I can perform route filtering, I can configure QS, I can apply any policy, I can perform the path as well, like manipulate the path as well. Based on tag, I can match the tag with the help of route map and I can set the next hop. We can perform the path manipulation. With the help of community also, you can advertise tag value. First of all, there are two types of community, and before that, it is an BGP community is an optional transitive attribute. Right? Yesterday I told you about optional transitive and non-transitive attribute. So community is optional transitive attribute. It contains some extra information with prefixes in your BGP update message. Like tag, you can say it is used for tagging method. You can say BGP contain tag information for each and every prefix in its BGP table. And there are two types of communities. Number one is predefined communities, and number two is on community. On community. Predefined community. In predefined community, we have some community like no export, right? In the BGP chart also you have seen these attributes under optional transitive attribute. Second one is no advertise. Third one is internet, which is the default one. Whatever BGP till now we have learned, that is BGP with BGP community internet. And the last one is local ES. So these are your predefined communities, right? Just you need to use, you don't need to do anything, you can use these predefined communities. Understand now, when a BGP prefix is getting advertised with no export community, in that case, you know what happened? In that case, router will advertise that prefix only to their iBGP neighbor, not to their eBGP neighbor. If you want to limit any prefix within your company, within your iBGP, what you can do? You can set no export community with that prefix. How? Simply I will match the prefix through ACL prefix list. I will create a route map. In the route map, I will match prefix from my ACL or prefix list, and then I will say set community no export. Right? So no export is going to limit your BGP prefixes within iBGP. Example, R1 connected to R2, R3. Or R2, R3, R4, and here we have what? R1. Okay, here we have eBGP or iBGP, and here we have eBGP. Right? So if R1 is going to advertise any prefix to router number 2, for an example, 10.1.1.0/24 with no export, it means what? It means router 2 will not advertise it to which neighbor, guys?
R4.
R4. It will only advertise to
R3.
R3. Clear?
Yes. Sir, so we run this command on R2 or R1?
R1. From R1 I will advertise this prefix with no export community.
Does it like pass through on like local preference, like passed on with every
Rest
update to
everything
every
is same,
router?
na brother? Where is local preference here?
No, I mean if we set it in R1 and there are other multiple router in that AS, so it will be passed on to all of them.
Yes, of course. Right, and we can apply this community in both direction, in direction or out direction. I can advertise from R2 or I can add on R2. Like whatever prefixes is coming from R1, please add this community.
Does it also go beyond our AS or stay within our AS?
How
This
it will go
attribute?
beyond your AS?
Okay.
It will not advertise to BGP, na? The next community is no advertise. No advertise is used to limit prefix to not limit prefix. It is going to advertise if if a router is receiving prefix with no advertised community attribute, then router will not advertise to IBGP as well as to EBGP. Right? If I want this router R1 to not advertise, R1 to advertise 10 prefix to R2, but R2 to not advertise to any neighbor IBGP or EBGP, I can say no advertise. It's clear with your name only. Do not advertise. Internet is the default community, and in case of internet, routers are going to advertise prefixes to their IBGP and EBGP neighbor. By default, community is internet only. And the fourth one is local AS. It is used in case of config AS. If you want to limit any prefix in your config AS, then you can set local AS community. Use in case of configuration. Means routers are going to advertise whenever router receive prefix with local AS community attribute, then router will share that prefix to their config IBGP neighbor only, not advertise to their EBGP neighbor. Clear, guys? To their only IBGP neighbor, not to EBGP. So no export is again used to limit your prefixes within the ES. Local ES is going to limit the prefixes within the ES for configuration. Right? For config IBGP neighbor, it will advertise. For config EBGP neighbor, it is not going to advertise. Like both are in ES 100, main ES, and my child ES is ES1, and here also child ES is ES1. Right? If local AS is attribute is attached with the prefixes, R1 is going to advertise prefix to R2. But here if child AS is 2, it means we have what? Config EBGP. In this case, R1 is not going to advertise to R2. These are default community, just you need to use. What I am going to do, set interface app 0/0 no cert IP address 12.101.255.255.255.0 exit interface loopback 1 IP address 10.1.1.255.255.255.0 exit. Just forget about this customer router now. Okay, we have 10 submit over here. 10.1.1.0/20 4. Let me configure BGPS number 100, BGPS number 100, BGPS number, let's say 200, anything, and 200 or 300, whatever. Okay, so on router number 1, this is my configuration. Then router BGP 100 and neighbor 12.1.2 remote ES 100, and then network 10.1.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0 exit. Copy and paste. Then R2 IP is going to be 12.2. IP on loopback 1 is not there. Instead of loopback, I'm going to make it F1/0 no set, and IP address 12.1. Sorry, not 12, 23.1.1. 2. BGP ES number 100, neighbor 12.1, a remote ES 100, and one more neighbor 23.1.3 and a remote ES 200. Copy and paste it on R2. Done. Then finally R3, F0/0 will have IP 23.1.3, F1/0 will have IP 34.1.4, BGPS number 200, and sorry, okay, good. Here neighbor is 23.1.2, remote ES 100, and 34.1.4 remote ES 300.
1/0 3 na 1/0
3,
34
3, yes, true. R3, paste it. What happened? There is some mistake. Oh,
Config terminal.
okay, and then finally R4, interface F0/0 IP address is 34.1.4, interface loopback 1. No shutdown and IP address. Let me say 40.1.1, router BGP 300. Neighbor is 34.3 and remote AS is 200 and one network. Network 40.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0. Copy and paste it on R4. Close R5 and R6. And so IP BGP, good. So IP BGP summary, good. Go to R2. So IP BGP, okay. So IP BGP summary. Two neighbors are there and it is learning one prefix from this neighbor. Which one? So IP BGP 10. Next up is 12.1, which is reachable prefix is valid as well as best. Will R2 advertise it to R3?
No, sir.
Yes, na? eBGP.
Yes.
Right, so 10. Next hop updated by R2, valid and best, it will install in routing table, it will advertise to R4 also. So IP route BGP 10. Next hop is updated, valid, best, it will install in routing table. Now let's talk about 40 subnet, it will advertise to R3. On R3 you can see valid and best. On R2, so IP BGP, nope. On R2 route is not showing. Okay, 40 is there. Next up is 23.3, which is reachable. Will R2 advertise it to R1? Yes, it is receiving from eBGP. It will advertise to iBGP. So 40 is there, but next stop is not updated. So go to R2 and say router BGP 100 and neighbor 12.1.1. Next stop self. And on R1 clear IP BGP star soft in. On router number 1 I am going to create few more loopback, interface loopback to IP address 10.1.2.1 255.255.255.0 exit. All good, guys?
Need to advertise, right? This loopback.
Router BGP 100 and network 10.1.2.0 mask 255.255.255.0. Go to R4 and check directly BGP table. You can see both the prefixes are there. Both are installed in routing table. Good?
Yes, sir.
Yes. To advertise community, see, let me do one thing. Let me advertise prefix 10 with community no export first. I will create a route map. Route map, name of my route map is, let's say, CCNP, and permit sequence number 10. Set community. Set community. Which community? No export community. No export. Exit. And route map name is CCNP. Router BGP 100 and neighbor 12.1.2 and route map CCNP direction out out, and go to R2 and check clear IP BGP star soft in. So IP BGP, is any attribute added? So IP BGP 10.1.0, is any attribute added over here? No. So here I need to run one more command, that is neighbor 12.1.2. By default it is not going to advertise community. So you have to say send community. After running this command, it will advertise it. It will start advertising community. Go to R2 and check the BGP table again. Now, is there any community? Clear IP BGP star soft in and show IP BGP. No export community is added, right? In the community field. Now on order number 4, if I am going to clear BGP, because no export is going to limit to IBGP only, so will R2 advertise to R3 now. Clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. Now see, 10 subnet is not there. This is how you can use, right? Other predefined community. Got it, guys? Clear? Now if I want to add community no export with only first loopback, then what I can do on order number 1, I can say no route map and CCNP, and I will create a access list number 10 permit 10.1.0 while karma 0.0.255, and then again route map CCNP permit sequence number 10. First I will match IP address. Match IP, when you don't match anything, it means match all. Match IP address from list number 10 and then set community no export. No export. Go to R2 and clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP 10.1.1.0. No export committee is there, but with another prefix 10.1.2.0. 2.0 is not there in table. Why? So IP BGP 2.0 is there. Yes, it's because of my route map. Route map CCNP permit sequence number 20. Then here you can see we don't have any community. So on R4 now I have so IPBGP. I have only what 10.1.2.0. 10.1.1.0 is limited to IBGP only. Got it, guys? Is it clear, sir? It's so simple, right?
Yeah, yes,
Predefined
sir.
committee are so simple, right? Just we can use it to limit, right? It is similar like OSPF LSA filtering. In any domain, you can limit the prefixes with the help of community. So these are predefined community. We have total 4 predefined community. Now the important here for you guys, which I need to learn, we need to learn is on community. On community means we can advertise any community. We can advertise any community on community. It is a 32 bits decimal number, right? In OSPF just we add the tag value, right? But we have not learned. After that we had used the tag value. So if I will talk about the length of our community, it is 32 bits and is like EIGRP tag value or OSPF tag value. By using this on community, we can tag prefix. We can tag prefix and that tag value can be used for manipulation and route filtering. There are 2 methods of on community. One is old method old method where your community is going to like this 100, 200, 500 like that, and new method, new model, new method. In new method, your committee is going to be in ratio 100 ratio or 10 ratio 100. The first value you can imagine as AS number, second value you can imagine as tag, that if any prefix is there 10.1.1.0/24 with community, let's suppose 10 ratio 100, it means we can understand, or 100 ratio 10, we can understand that this prefix is coming from ES number 100, the originator is ES number 100, and the tag value is 10, right? It means this is a sales prefix. If any prefix is there 10.1.2.0/24 with tag 120, it means ES number 100 and coming from HR, right? So 10 is the tag value of sales, 20 is the tag value of HR, like this. You can identify for your understanding only. Now question is how we can use it. So let me first remove the community which I have added on router number 1. Go to R1 and say router BGP 100 do so run section BGP, neighbor this one, denote send community, and this route map also. Send community command should be there, otherwise it will not advertise on community as well, right? Let me create one prefix list. Right now on router number 4, if you will check clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP, then you can see 10.1.2.0 is here. It should have 1.0 as well. So IP BGP, so IP BGP 10.1.0 is committed here now? No. So IP BGP now on R4, so IP BGP good. Now go to R1 IP prefix list, let's say CCNP or CCIE, then permit 10.1.1.0/20, 4 greater than equal to 24 less than equal to 20, whatever, invalid range, okay, sorry, 24 here, 0. IP prefix list CCIE permit 10.1.1.0/24 and less than equal to 32. Done like this. Or you can create ACL also, right, just to match the prefix, either prefix list or ACL list, doesn't matter. Then route map, name of my route map is CCIE permit sequence number 10, then match IP address from prefix list, name of your prefix list is CCIE, and then set community, and here I will define the value, what community you want to set. Let's say 100 ratio 10, 100 ratio 10, exit, and in the same route map I am going to permit with another sequence number. After that I will call my route map with BGP router BGP 100 neighbor 12.1.2 and route map CCIE direction out, and now go to R2 and clear BGP, clear IP BGP star soft in, and so IP BGP. In BGP table you can see both the prefixes are there. If I am going to open 10.1.1.0, is there any community? 10.2.0, is there any community? No, because send community command is still missing. So neighbor 12.2 and send community, and now go to R2 and clear IP BGP star soft in, so IP BGP 10.1.0, you can see the community, but it is in old method. right? This is what old method. Your value is there in decimal. It has just multiplied. So what I can do on router number 1, I can say router BGP 100, then IP BGP community. I think this command will work in global mode. IP BGP community, yes, IP BGP community and new format, and then go to R2 and clear BGP once, and then check. So IP BGP 10. So router 1 is now having community properly, I think. So IP BGP 10.1.0. Here you can see 10.1.1.0. Okay, so R1 will advertise it to R2. I need to run this command on R2 as well. Like, not required on R1, you should enable it on R2, new model, new method. IP BGP community, new format. That's it. And then so IP BGP 10. Now you can see it is in ratio. Done. Will R2 advertise this community to R3 also? So IP BGP 10.1.0? No. So just you need to say community from R2. Router BGP 100 neighbor 23.1.3 and send community. That's it. Now go to R3 and check. Clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. Done. Again old method, old format. So IP BGP community and new format. And so IP BGP. Done. Will R3 advertise it to R4? No, right? Because on R3 also I have to send community. Router BGP 200 and neighbor 34.1.4 and send community. Go to R4 and clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP 10.1.0. You can see community. So one more command, IP BGP community new format and so IP BGP. Done. And with other prefix 10.1.2.0 there is no any community. So this way you can add any community based on your requirement, and based on this community value I can again perform now what? Manipulation, right? You can match the prefix through ACL, you can match the prefix through prefix list. IP community list 10 permit 100 ratio 10. I can permit prefixes like this, rest all will be, or rest can be denied. Whatever community you want to allow, you can allow. Whatever community you want to deny, you can deny, right? Other thing is in route map also you can match the community. One more thing is there, that is ES migration. Let's suppose here we have a service provider. Let's suppose I have a router. This is customer C router. Understand the requirement. This customer has connectivity, WAN connectivity from multiple service providers. Service provider 1, service provider 2, service provider 3, service provider 4, and so on. And through service provider, my remote sites are connected. On ISP 1, ES number, BGP ES number is, let's suppose, 100, here 200, here 300, and on the customer router my ES number is, let's say, 1000. But what happened, because of any reason I want to change the ES number on customer router. If I want to change the ES number, I need downtime, right guys? Because I need to replace BGP and service provider also need to replace BGP. I have to request service provider to replace the remote ES number, right? Service providers are not going to replace their BGP configuration, but with neighbor command, they need to update the remote ES. And it is not so easy. Longer downtime is required because you are not in production, you are not just going to run command neighbor remote ES, this one. After a send committee command is running, many route map is running, many policy is there, password is there, lots of neighbor command is running. And if you are thinking, Praful, why I need to change the ES number on the customer is out of, let's suppose there is another company, right, where ES number 65,001 is running. And I am merging this company, right? To receive all the prefixes here, I need to form IBGP neighborship. And there are, guys, n number of reasons why we need to change ES number. This particular thing is called as ES migration in the production. Whoever has worked on the BGP, you must have experienced these kinds of scenarios in production. So if I am going to replace my BGP on the customer router, lots of configurations are required, and we need downtime. We need to request to service provider to change the remote ES, and there are multiple service provider involved. Here you can see. So it is not going to be easy. Here we have a feature called ES migration. With the help of ES migration, very easily, even without downtime, you can replace your ES. Yes, change your ES. And later you can also request service provider to change the remote ES command. Definitely service provider will update the remote ES. Hardly for 1 to 2 seconds, your network is going to be down. Rest of the time, users will be accessing all the services, accessing the servers. What is that special command? Let me do one thing for this. Let me say this is a service provider, for an example, SP. On router number 1, I am running BGPS number 100. On router 2, let me delete this one. Okay, 100, 200 and 300. Okay, let's suppose, let me save the configuration of R3 and shut down. My god, set. Okay, let's suppose, no problem. Let's suppose this is my sites in USA. This is my one site in, let's say, India. And in between, there is a service provider. This is SP, let's say British Telecom. Very common service provider. Okay, let me access R2 British Telecom, and see, on the customer router you will be running private ES. You all know this. On F0/0/0 is only on BT. So on 0/0 my IP is going to be, let's suppose 23.1.3, and on interface F1/0 my subnet is, let's say, 24.1. or 34. 1.1.4. BGP number here 200 and neighbor is 23.1.2 and one more neighbor which is, or let me mention the subnet, it will be better. Here 23.1.0 and here 34. Okay, so 34.1.1. 34.1.4 remote ES is 300 and I am not advertising network here.
Sir, F0 1.3, 1.1.3.
Second IP.
F0.
Yeah, 3. Copy and paste it on BT. Config T. Then on R2, what will be IP over here? 2. And instead of this, I'm just creating one loop back. Loop back 1. IP over here is 10.1.
Sir, app interface 1/0.
Yeah. Let me correct that as well. Network 10.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0. Copy. Sorry, here F1/0. Now is it correct?
Yes.
Config T, paste the command, and on router number 4, guys, 34.1.1.4, it is going to be 0/0 and loop back 1, let me say 40, BGP number
300.
on router number 2, I have configured wrong BGP, right? 300, here it should be 100. Neighbor 34.1.3, network is 40.
Sir, neighbor is not correct.
Neighbor
Sir,
is
yes.
234.
copy and let me paste it on R4. Just I need to replace the configuration on router number 2, I think. Do so run section BGP. Here I have configured 200, so no router BGP 200. Say router BGP 100 and neighbor 23.1.3 and remote AS 200 and network 10.1.0. Done. Go to R4 and check BGP table. So IP BGP, you can see 40 self-advertise. So IP BGP summary, neighborship is up, but receive route is 0. Here I am getting notification message. So IP BGP summary. Where is mistake? So run section BGP. Remote ES is 200, BGPS is 100 on BT. Do so run section BGP. Here is mistake, right? No to this router BGP 200 and no to this and then add this command. Now it's okay, I think. Still getting notification message.
Neighbor 100. Remote AS 100.
Cloud map on BT.
No to this and then neighbor
Remote AS 100.
100. Now it is. Now you know what I will do on router number 4. Simply I will run command show run section BGP. These are my BGP configuration. Copy, paste it over here. This is my BGP configuration on router number 4 where I want to migrate my ES. Right now I am not going to tell anything to British Telecom service provider. On my router, I will go to config T. I will say router BGP and my BGP ES number is 300. So 300. Usually what you will do, you will remove this command, no router BGP. Let's suppose if I want to migrate from 300 to 500 or 65,000, 65,000 to 1. Normally what you will do, you will say no to this, and after that you are going to say router BGP 65,001, right? Then BT also need to update the neighbor command. Instead of saying no router BGP 300, what I can do? I will say no. Praful. BGP goes down, communication goes down. Now router BGP 65,001 and neighbor IP address 34.1.1.3 remote ES 200. Will neighborship come up, guys? And network 40.1.1.0 mask 255.255.255.0. You can see I'm getting error message. ES mismatch, error message. This is what usually you will do to change the ES number. This is error. Now I am just going to add one command here, neighbor 34.1.1.4 and local ES 300. For this neighbor, local ES is 300. Can't configure the local ES, sorry, IP address is 34.3 and local ES 300. And now soon BGP session will come up again. Just a minute, guys. Okay. This is my configuration. So actually why I had copied this configuration, in this configuration only I am going to change my ES number 65,001 and here I am going to add one command, neighbor, the neighbor IP address and local ES. Instead of remote ES I am going to say local ES, the previous ES 300. So yeah, 300, that's it. So hardly your network will goes down for few seconds and now you can see show IP BGP summary. Neighborship is still up and show IP BGP. In BGP table you can see the prefix. If you will look at into the prefix which is coming from India 10, you can see here 300, 200 and 100. This 300 is local ES. This 300 is local ES. Now whatever prefix is coming from India to US, it will have this local ES information. Now this US router is merging with another company, so it can have neighborship with 65,001. right? So in my US side, I can receive prefixes from the new customer, as well as I have session with BT communication, right? Service provider didn't apply any changes in their BGP configuration, yes or no? Even if you want to suppress it, hide it, because this is not good. Where is ES 300 now? We are not able to see anywhere ES 300. What you can do? In the same command, you can add one more keyword, router BGP 65001. Now you have new AS, that is 65001 here. And the neighbor command which I have used with local AS is this one. I am going to say no prepend. No prepend. And now clear IP BGP star soft in and so IP BGP. See, good. And on the India side, so IP BGP, you have where's 40? What happened? So IPVGP 40, it should advertise to R2 here. You can see it is coming from 65,001. Then 200 is the ES number of British Telecom, and this is the local ES. Here also you can like ask your service provider to no prepend it. And that is still coming. So on the service provider router, or here I can do one more thing, by the way, on my US side router BGP 165,001, and here I am going to say a neighbor IP address local ES 300. For this neighbor only local ES is 300, no prepend, and I can replace ES. Replace ES. Now earlier on the BT, this was the 300 was also there and 65,001 was also there. Now you will check BGP table. Now you can see 65,001 is suppressed. And when you have already requested to service provider, later service provider engineer is going to replace remote ES for this side. So here on router number 4, you can also add one more keyword here, that is dual ES. That is dual ES. My God, it's 10:28. Is my time correct, guys? Laptop?
Yes. Yes.
My God. Okay, guys. So whatever we have discussed, you can practice it, right? From here, we will proceed tomorrow. So right now, I look at into the clock. I am half an hour late. Definitely today I have to fight with my.
Sir, will be revised in next class.
Yeah, sure. We'll revise this. Yes, my.